I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. Hello, and welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I'm so excited that I get to bring to you every week extraordinary women, women that have taken charge in their lives, women that have stepped into their power, women that have said that they're here to do great things unapologetically. And because of that, then we get to give to you the opportunity to remember that you have the same abilities within you. They are examples, they're not exceptions. So we are on Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker, Amazon, and YouTube. Just subscribe to Women Awakening and come back every week and be inspired. I have today a beautiful woman whose name is Laëtitia Nguyen. She grew up in the French Alps, but later lived in 7 countries around the world. In 2017, she was left by her fiancé 3 months before the wedding. So she decided that she was going to do everything as planned and she was going to marry herself on the beautiful island of Santorini. And then right after, she listened to her soul and she changed careers, reconnecting to her true self. She became a writer and an artist, being a finance manager for a decade in an international group. She created a blog about Elle in 2018, and she wanted to share her story to inspire self-love and courage. What I love about her is that she's been in the press all over the world, and she's taken a step further. She created a book, her first book, called My Solo Wedding in Santorini, or How I Saved My Life. It's in English and French. Laëtitia, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here. And I want to start with what I usually do with my guests is, how did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in the French Alps, and actually it was pretty special because we were only 3 Asian in the small town I grew up. My dad, my sister, and myself, because my mom was French and she was white. So it was very interesting because at a very early age, I felt I was different. And of course, I've been bullied because of that. But, it gave me the resilience and the strength to discover that instead of thinking I was different, I was special.
Yes.
And this is really something really important in my personality, in everything I've done my entire life. I think it was really an opportunity for me to develop some skills and some qualities that other people couldn't have, because they were just like everybody else. And definitely, I think at a very early age, because I developed that, now when I say I married myself, it makes sense for so many people.
Yes. Well, I love that you reframed what could be a challenge, being multiracial, being in a space where you weren't the norm, that you got to say, I'm special, and you got to start living your life that way as you moved around. So I want to talk just a little bit about this fiance. How long had you been together?
So we were together for 5 years, and we were engaged for almost a year and a half when he broke off our engagement. And it was really dramatic and traumatic for me, just not only the cancellation of the wedding, but also because he just sent an email to tell me that the wedding was canceled. And this is actually how I start my book. This is the first chapter in my book, is about how everything happened. And I've never spoken to him after that, never again.
So okay, I just have to interrupt here, because you're with a person for 5 years, engaged for a year and a half, and he doesn't give you the respect of even having a conversation. He just emails.
Exactly.
Would you have ever thought that this was a part of his personality?
No, absolutely not. No, he was someone responsible and reliable. So and we were very much in love, because when you go through such a difficult breakup, of course you blame yourself. You try to understand what happened, and first you think, oh, maybe I did something wrong, or maybe I said something wrong, but very quickly for me it was like, no, this is his story, and unfortunately I don't know what is behind that, and I will probably never have the answer of that. It took this decision, and I'm just in the middle of it, and I have to accept it and do something for myself. So it completely, disappeared from my life, just like that. And yeah, just honestly, the first days were really, really difficult.
I'm sure.
My world completely collapsed. It was even worse because we were planning a wedding. So it was only 3 months before the ceremony. And we were going to fly from Australia to Greece, with family and friends and everybody. And I remember very well the day after the breakup, I received an email from the wedding planner asking me, what do you want for the flowers? What do you want for the music, etc., etc. And I was completely shattered, and I didn't know what to answer, because at that time I didn't know what to do, and I was, I wanted to talk to my fiancé, but he never answered my emails, anything. Just it completely disappeared. So fortunately for me, because of my strong personality and because I'm a very positive person, and I don't let circumstances decide for my life. Yes. I take control of it. So 2 weeks later, I've been to the hairdresser, and I've seen an article about self-marriage and especially solo weddings in Japan. I knew about it, but I've never thought doing that in my life. I mean, I was in love, I was engaged, I was going to marry the man of my life. But when I saw this article, it was like, a sign from the universe. It was, okay, that's the answer to my prayers. Yeah. I'm going to do that, because I didn't want to cancel everything. I had spent a year and a half to plan everything, my dream wedding, and all the energy, all the love I put into it. I couldn't waste that. It was too precious for me. So
well, this is so incredible. And I really want to talk about what's involved in marrying yourself. But I want to know, what did you say to your family and your friends as you were deciding to go forward with it just for you?
So I told them that obviously the fiancé was not here anymore. It was not a picture anymore. And because everything was planned, like all the flight tickets were booked, my friends and family, they took holidays to go there. So it was, I told them only a month before, because I was so scared. I was so afraid to tell them, and I needed them by my side. So I started there. I said, you know what? He left. I am shattered. My world collapsed. I'm not sure what I'm doing right now, But what I know is I'm going to marry myself in Santorini, as planned, and I need you by my side. So don't try to understand, because even me, I don't understand what I'm doing right now. But just be there for me and hold my hand, and that's it. And I am so very blessed because I have incredible family and friends. My parents are lovely, my young sister too, and everybody said yes, and they said, yeah, we'll be there for you. And yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay, so who did the ceremony?
So I had an official Greek celebrant who did the ceremony there, and it was the first solo wedding in Greece. So it was just fantastic, because my wedding planner and the celebrant, they just told me, do whatever you want to do and we'll follow. And this is exactly what happened. I had the great chance to organize everything the way I wanted to be, and it was really like a normal, I would say, wedding, just without the groom, because I had an official celebrant. I had an incredible venue because it was in a vineyard on the cliffs of Santorini, with a beautiful view on the caldera. So it was absolutely amazing. We had a DJ. We had fantastic food buffet. It was. I had the white dress and the flowers and absolutely everything. So it was absolutely like a normal wedding, just without a groom.
Well, first of all, I want to celebrate your bravery. I want to celebrate you taking charge of your life in that moment and being with the feelings of the disappointment and the hurt, but making a decision for you. I just think that that's extraordinarily powerful. And when you married you, what was the feeling?
So first, thank you very much. And it was very interesting, because when I took the decision to marry myself, it was definitely a question of survival for me, no doubt about it. And so, as I said, I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew it was the right thing to do. And the morning of the wedding, of course, I thought of my fiancé, but it was more like, you are really missing something here, because something great is going to happen.
Yeah.
So my mindset was, it's really interesting, because my mindset was strong. Of course I was sad. Of course I wanted to marry him still at that time. I was still in love, obviously, but I knew I was doing the right thing. And during the ceremony, something happened. I had an epiphany, and I realized how much love and respect I had for myself. Yeah. And I didn't know that before. Even if I made the decision to marry myself like 3 months before, I didn't realize that. And this is really happened during the ceremony, while I was telling my vows and everything. It poured me like from above. Definitely, it was like, oh wow, I will always have my back.
Yes. Oh yes.
And
well, it's the thing is, it's like, it often happens with people. They take a brave step, and then an epiphany happens. Something comes in, and so I want to know. So you from that moment, you changed your career, and you became a finance manager. And where did the blog come in?
So I was so before my wedding, I was a finance manager for a big company, and when I married myself, because it was so empowering for me,
Yeah.
I decided to take a year off
Ah,
to process the breakup and to process also marrying myself, being so close to myself and knowing that now I was safe, I was protected, I was guided. It really changed like everything in my mind, in my heart. And so I took a year off. And during this year, it just happened that probably for the first time, I listened to my soul.
oh, wow.
And the answer was writing. And it was so interesting because I've been writing since I was 8 years old. This is something coming from my childhood. And just, I loved doing that. I loved writing. But I always thought it was just a hobby, you know, and I couldn't make a career with that skill or that talent. And I just, unfortunately, like many people did, I follow what society wanted for me, what my family wanted for me, and I became a finance manager because it was more secure and it was better for me. But after my solo wedding, I couldn't do that anymore. I was not aligned with that, and I knew it, and I couldn't go back to that. So this is when I've decided to create the blog about Elle, and to write a book, because so many people after my soul wedding, they say they wanted me to share my experience more because they wanted to know more about it. And it was really interesting because actually men connected to me a lot because they didn't know how to overcome a heartbreak. They didn't know how to be happy after a difficult breakup or divorce. And seeing me being so radiant and happy after everything happened. And so writing the book was essential for me, but not only on a personal view, because of course it was a fantastic way to heal and to process and everything, but also to be able to help people. And yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, so you hadn't written a book before. And what was your process of writing the book?
I've tried to write many books in the past, and I couldn't. And actually, I'm going to say that first because it's very linked. It's really interesting. So I tried to write many books before, but I couldn't finish them. And after my solo wedding in Santorini, when I discovered that my gift was writing, I was very upset with myself, with everybody. And I thought I wasted my time being a finance manager before and studying accounting and finance. And I said, why I didn't become an author like when I was 20 and not 42? So I was really upset. And then I realized that everything happens for a reason. And everything that happened in my past led me to this exact moment and led me to write the right story at the right moment for me. And it's just because in the past I didn't have the right story to help people. And now my solo wedding, it was so easy to write it. I did it in 6 months. That's it. Out of the blue. It was like, okay, I've decided to go to Crete. I stayed there for 7 months, took my laptop and said, now you're going to write a book. And I did it. This is the way, I mean, it really happened like that. It's really, really interesting. And
Well,
yeah.
What's incredible about what you just said is that everything that's ever happened to us has led us to the moment that we're in. And so you're recognizing that everything's happened for a reason, and now you are ready to bring forth that artist, to bring forth that writer, and to be in support of people. And so tell me what you're doing now.
So with my blog, I'm sharing my life, my dreams, my inspiration, and of course, my solo wedding in Santorini. But I'm trying to share my vision of life and also my perception of life, because I see beauty and intelligence and grace in everything. And because I love traveling, for example, so I love sharing that to people. And sometimes I'm doing things that people are afraid to do, and for many reasons. But just because I show them that I'm doing them, then they want to try. So this is what I'm doing with my blog. It's really trying to share so many things I love doing, and like that people can be inspired to do the same. And I'm currently writing my second book after my solo wedding in Santorini and everything that happened after that, like freezing my eggs alone in Spain, going to New York for Christmas, lots of dreams I had postponed in the past because of my career, because of my relationship, all of that. And after my solo wedding, it was time to realize all of them. And actually, this is a message I encourage people to do. It's really realize your dreams, no matter if they are small or big. Just go for it, because happy people make a happy world.
That's
And
exactly right.
yeah, so you need to live, you need to be, you need to live, and you need to love, and that's it.
Well, you're talking my language here. In my latest book, I tell people your dreams matter. Step into them, dare to soar, dare to fly. So what's incredible about this is that what I realized from talking to people like you is that there are so many of us on the planet who want to make a difference for ourselves, but we want to inspire other people to do the same. And that's exactly what you're doing. I want to know, how do people find you?
Okay, so they can go on my website, www.blogaboutl, just the letter.com. And you will find contact page. They can send me a message there, and also on social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. It's just at blogaboutl.
At blogaboutl. Love it, love it, love it. So what an extraordinary conversation here. You're so inspirational, and the light in your face and the porcelain skin that you have that's radiating is quite magnificent. I ask the same last question of every guest on my show. The show is called Women Awakening. What do you think is the most important thing about women awakening at this time on the planet?
Embrace your feminine energy. Because in this patriarchal, capitalistic world, we've been taught to repress our emotions, not to show vulnerability, all these kind of things. We learn comparison and competition, for example. We need to go back to community and listen to our intuition. And I think being able to embrace this feminine energy, this is the way to really tap into your self-love and to bloom into the flower you're supposed to be.
Exquisite. Absolutely. Honoring our femininity and our power. I believe that this is the time for women to step into that fully. because the world needs our energy and our light and our creativity in our heart. Thank you so much for being here with me. So grateful to know you, and I'm looking forward to your second book.
Thank you very much for having me. It was fantastic to discuss with you today.
So ladies, I'm going to say the same thing I say to you every week at the end in a different way. What if you knew you were exquisite? What if you knew you were powerful? What if you knew that there was nothing standing in the way of your creating the life of your dreams? If you knew that, you would be unstoppable. You are magnificent and powerful and brilliant. And I encourage you today, to start today, to absolutely claim your freedom, claim your life, and step into your power. I'm so grateful to know you. I will see you next week, and I'm sending much love.